Calling all Manic Mums, I'm Naomi.
I'm Francine, and this is the podcast for you. We're going to be talking about everything from husbands to parenting, our glamorous lives in the showbiz world, talking about showbiz gossip.
It's basically like a glass of chilled Prosecco, but in a podcast series.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And this is our brand new podcast, Manic Mums.
And we're going to share with you guys everything about our crazy lives, aren't we?
So, even my white socks.
Yeah, your white socks.
Which explains the Manic Mum life. I had no time this morning. I literally got the kids to school. The weather was dreadful, so the traffic was murder.
Yeah.
And it was get ready to come here for filming, and I stuck on white socks.
I know.
That is so bad.
And that's just a prime example of our life, isn't it? So it's like, do you know what I always say? I always say the analogy that I'm like a duck that is floating along. So I look quite glam on top. Like it looks like it's just, I'm going along nicely. And then underneath I'm going, crazy, frantic.
That's me. And that's why we have decided to call our podcast Manic Mums.
Exactly. So every week we're going to be sharing with you just a bit of all the craziness of our lives, but also we hope that you'll get involved and tell us what's going on with your lives and any feedback, the things that you'd like to hear more. We're going to talk about the showbiz world, the fashion world, mum life, and just general things like beauty as well.
Yeah, and we want to be relatable. So if there's anything that you're thinking, oh, I'm having such a nightmare with my 10-year-old, or I'm having such a nightmare with my 17-year-old, because I say that because Naomi
sounds familiar.
Has a 10-year-old daughter, and I have a 17-year-old daughter, and you might be able to relate to the issues that I have. And I'd like to explain to you as well how I've resolved a lot of them, which is the household at the moment is quiet.
Wow.
And that's amazing. So these are sort of things we want you to kind of, feel that you understand us, and, you're not on your own. You're not on your own into feeling, God, why am I feeling like that?
Yeah.
Or, we're going to be really open,
we are.
frank.
We're going to be really open for the first time, because a lot of people say to me as well, wow, your Instagram, it looks so glossy and glam.
That's exactly what
and then when I tell them the reality of like what my day's been like with the kids running off or embarrassing me or whatever, they're like, oh my God, I never see that on your Instagram.
Do you know, it's quite funny you touched on that, because I feel, and I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but I do feel with my social media, I make out sometimes my life is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to, because I only put the good things.
The good bits.
Because I just feel I don't like sharing with everybody when things are going bad. I'm not the best at doing that.
No, but I agree. I think, for me personally, my Instagram is about sharing positivity. So I feel like I want to keep anything negative that's going on behind the scenes, because really my Instagram page for me is to inspire other mums, other people that think, wow, I love that outfit. Oh, and she got it for 50 quid. That's amazing. Or, oh my goodness, I'd never think of taking my kids to this place. Or where should we eat with the kids? Oh, Naomi's been there. That looks great. So I always want to try and inspire people to say, even though I love a drink, I love to eat whatever I want, but I do need to work out. And I try to share those things that try and upbeat. Let's be upbeat, guys. Let's not moan about life.
See, I like that. I love people that are upbeat. Obviously, we also want to. I do admire people that can put on Twitter or social, Instagram that they've had a bit of a hard time or they're upset, because I feel like that they're real. They're being real.
Yeah.
But I just find it really hard myself, even to talk to some of my closest family. I just don't want people to think that I'm having a hard time.
No.
I want to pretend that I'm just handling life so well. But I have to say, I had 2 years of a hard time, and this year I started off thinking positively, and I'm not going to let what happens to me in the last couple of years affect anything, and I've just had a totally different vision, and the year has started so well. So
and I think that's also down to the different things that you're doing as well. So you're really like the two of us, and I think these are the kind of things that we want to share with you guys, how we deal with our day-to-day stresses. And while we're in this industry, where, to be honest, don't you feel like it is a case of putting on a brave face? So actually,
Definitely.
I think we're sort of naturally trained to just put on a bravado act, where I'm exactly the same. I don't want to share with anyone negativity. So it's not just about my Instagram. I don't really even want to share with people that I know that I'm having a bad day, or I'm having struggles with the kids, or at home, or with the family life, or anything like that.
You've got, and it's awful, but it's kind of like you want people to think you've got a perfect little life.
Yeah.
And no life's perfect.
No.
No marriage is perfect.
No.
No home life is perfect.
No, it's not.
No matter what people may put on Facebook or how we are those people.
I know.
It's not perfect.
This is why we're doing Manic Mums.
And this is why we're doing Manic Mums for the first time.
We're going to open up.
See, I'm in comedy, so people probably think that like I'm just having fun all the time, but obviously, in fact, I'm not saying I'm depressed, but people I've worked with in comedy, most of the best comedians are depressives. Not that I am, and I'm definitely not the best comedian. But you know, it's really nice to be able to be really natural in front of the camera and just talk really openly. So moving on, I think we need to kind of cover Caroline Flack, who recently died, which was a total shock and such a tragedy. I mean, such a beautiful, talented girl.
As it would seem, happy. Every picture you see, there's not one picture that seems to come out now that she's not smiling. She always looked like she was just the happiest, life and soul of the party. It's giving me goosebumps because I couldn't actually get over it. For about 3 or 4 days, I just kept, you know, like kind of obsessing over, you know, I was looking at all the stories. I was so upset because I was just thinking, obviously, this is the world that we work in, and so many people do put on the appearance like we're talking about of everything's perfect, they're okay, they can deal with it. And to be honest, it's more than heartbreaking. I do believe that, you know, it could have been prevented. And
I think it's
that's
just
the worst.
so
that's
sad
the worst thing. But we'll never know.
She was only just turned 40 in November, and that obviously from being a very, you could say a lucky girl, because I'd heard that she'd gone to like a stage school, she learnt to dance, and then she had her first TV gig really young, and from that she kind of just went from like job to job to job that got better and better, doing lots of big Saturday night shows that we know of. I mean, really, she had one of the best presenting jobs in TV. You know, she was doing the X Factor, the Extra Factor, I'm a Celeb, Get Me Out of Here, and then obviously Love Island, one of the best shows on. So you would say, gosh, she was quite lucky. I'd love to have a job like Caroline. I'd love to be a presenter like Caroline. And it just shows behind the scenes there was something that just made her unhappy. So no matter what she had, there was something missing in her life, whether that was love, because she was quite unlucky in love, whether that was children. I mean, personally, I think not having children, you know, I know not everyone wants children, but having children, it gives you such a different outlook on life.
Think it does. I think it gives you some sort of like maybe
balance
and strength that you never knew you had. Because I mean, I remember before I had kids, I said I'm not really interested in kids. I was never really maternal. I was all about career.
That's exactly what I was like.
Really?
Seriously.
Never knew that.
It was my husband that was really maternal.
Yeah.
Really maternal. And I was a real career girl, and also so conscious of my body.
Me too.
That I just didn't want my body to ever change.
That's like another story altogether, because that was the hardest thing for me, being pregnant.
And me.
And I obviously, when I met Hayden, he already had kids. So that was quite a weird dynamic, because I've got stepkids. So I came from being like a selfish career woman, all about me, to going, oh my God, what do you do with children?
Yeah.
I don't know. So like when we were first together, it would be like really, you know, Hayden would just be in like buckets of laughter, because I would go to the park and I'd be in stilettos and like all glammed up. Like, what are you doing?
That's hysterical.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? Because I hadn't been around kids. You know, my friends weren't, but they're all very similar. They're all about like, you know, they wanted to achieve their goals. They wanted to be TV presenters or, you know, multi-award winning artists, recording artists or singers. And so for me,
I
it was
agree.
like really, it was weird. I was used to all these fashion week parties and fashion eccentric, you know, personalities.
Yeah, no, I wasn't maternal either, which is weird, because when I was little, all I did was play with dolls. My baby dolls were like everything. I was, you know.
Yeah.
But my sister had a little boy, and I'm really close to my sister, and I was obsessed with little Daniel. Totally obsessed. I'd come and see him all the time. I used to try and spend any given moment with him. But he was the only child I liked because people used to, I don't know what it is about some people with babies, but they would just plonk their baby on me. Oh, hold my baby, see my baby. And I used to think, I don't want to hold your baby. Because I know this sounds absolutely awful, but I don't find all babies cute.
No, I don't.
Just like I don't find all animals cute.
I don't find all kids cute.
And I don't find all kids cute.
Kids can be really annoying, sorry.
And the only kid I found cute was my nephew. And so for me, when my husband said I want, because he was, you know, we weren't married at the time, but he really wanted a child quite soon after we started dating. And I'd been in a really long relationship before him since I was 14. Knew I'd never have kids with him, but I met Joel, and I must admit, I knew that he was going to be the one.
Yeah, I was the same with Hayden.
But kids just wasn't on the agenda for a while because I just was so career driven.
Yeah.
And when I have to say, after I had Brooke, because even when I was pregnant with Brooke, I used to say to my mum, "Oh, mum, as soon as I have the baby, you can take care of her, and I'm going to go back to work." Oh my God, I had this baby and I became an obsessive mother from hell. I mean, I don't know if you've heard things about Jewish mothers. I became the worst Jewish mother. I didn't want anyone to touch her.
Oh, it's so funny.
I wouldn't let anyone go near if they had perfume.
Yeah.
I used to just cringe when anyone was holding her. I'd put the muslin on their shoulder.
Yeah. So I said to Hayden, so Hayden was very much as well, he wanted to have kids. And I was like, oh God, I don't know. I've never thought about having kids. And anyway, we did end up having Fleur quite quickly. And with Fleur, again, it was just as my career was really starting to pick up. I just started filming a show, which then had been commissioned for the Middle East. And I was like, oh my gosh, career or baby, what do I do? And this is what this industry is like though. It can be when you're just thinking you're going to chill out and have quality time with your family that you get the biggest deals. And so then it was a case of, for me, Hayden was like, you've worked so hard, you can't let these opportunities go. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I've just had a baby. So I had to start looking at nurseries at like 6 weeks old.
Stop.
Yeah, I really did.
Oh,
and
goodness.
I wanted to breastfeed for as long as I could. And Hayden was like, you're putting yourself under too much pressure, bottle feed, I'll go out and get some formula. And I was like, no, I can't, I'm going to breastfeed.
Did you?
And I combination fed. So for a while I combination fed with Fleur, but poor little Fleur, from a young age, she was in childcare. And it's actually now, you'll get to know us throughout our Manic Mums series, but basically...
so that makes us totally opposite, because I wouldn't even leave my baby with my mother-in-law.
See, I was the opposite. I was literally straight back into work. I was actually sending emails while I was in labour.
That is like, for me, I thought that's what I would be like, but I was the total opposite, and not even my mother-in-law. The only person I let ever look after my child was my mum. Not even my husband.
Yeah.
He wasn't even good enough to look after her.
Poor
I
Joel.
remember he saying to me, go and have a little sleep, go on, you're tired, you've been up all night. I couldn't be up while my baby was up.
You're like neurotic mum then.
Neurotic, totally neurotic, totally obsessed. I didn't care about my work. I lost all ambition.
Did you?
All ambition.
Oh
so even when I used to
gosh.
get, so I was still getting voiceover work. I used to be really busy with voiceover work. And they used to call me quite regularly. In fact, on my wedding day, I'll never forget, I got, they read emails out, and she went, and you've got a job on Monday morning. This was on the Thursday, we got married on a weekday. And I thought it was a joke. I actually did have lucky I wasn't going on a honeymoon. But I was so obsessed with Brooke, I didn't leave her side. I wouldn't leave her.
Wow.
I wouldn't leave her with anybody. I wouldn't let anyone touch her. I didn't go out for, good few months. Till I left her.
That makes me feel bad because I was the opposite.
Yeah, I never left her in the hands of anyone. And when I did leave her, eventually with my mother-in-law, she had a staff dog, and I didn't want her going into the house with the dog. So the only argument I've ever had with my mother-in-law in all the years, because she couldn't understand it, because she loved her dog, she knew he was, okay. But I said to her, I don't trust anyone near my baby.
Well, that's funny you say that. So I was maybe not the most maternal. I was still very much in a career mode, but I was like, I'm blessed because I've got a career, but I'm having a baby. And if I want to make this work, I'm going to have to juggle it from the start. And I did, and I've always continued to do that. I feel a bit guilty now, and I think I look back and I go, I wish I'd given my kids more time at different ages, but they're only 10 and 5. So I've still got a chance to stop now and go, right now I'm dedicating more time to my kids. But I had the similar problem. My mum had what type of Cocker Spaniel?
Oh, they can turn cocker
It
spaniels.
totally turned.
Yeah, I had one.
It got so jealous.
Yeah.
And it was devastating. It was really, really devastating. And unfortunately, my mum actually had to give him away because he went to attack me and Fleur, and she was obviously.
Oh, don't! I know.
It's the most worrying thing, and that is another subject. But we've got so many different subjects over these coming weeks that we're going to be sharing with you guys. But we'd love to hear, like, if there's any topics that have touched a nerve with you that you want, just please comment below. We want to know what you guys are interested in, what's maybe hit a chord with you, and you might like to hear in another episode coming up.
Yeah, and also you touched on the point of breastfeeding. Did you breastfeed? I pumped mine because both of my children wouldn't actually take to my nipples.
Oh, didn't they?
No, but you know I have got quite small nipples. I thought I'd just share that with you.
So I'm the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and mine
You
both
got teeth.
Yeah.
So mine wasn't.
I've got dummies.
So do you know what? I ended up. My husband used to milk me like a cow. I swear, he'd get the pump and he'd be milking me like a cow. And 6 weeks I did that with Brooke. And if I tell you, from being somebody who had really naturally good breasts, I was good size C, nice and full, I went into empty bean bags. I would never advise anyone to ever pump their breasts. I mean, obviously,
I pumped as well, but I had an electric pump.
No, I don't know why we had a normal pump. And the thing is, they made my breasts so bad that even my mum said to me when I was wearing a bikini, Fran, oh my goodness, what's happened to your breasts? You have to have them done. So that's another subject.
So that's another subject.
But it was horrendous what had happened. You know, I do think, I'm happy she had breast milk for the first 6 weeks, but actually in hindsight, I don't think I would have done it if I knew what was going to happen, because I tell you what, to be natural on your breast is the best.
I know. Well, I'm not natural. I've had 2 breast dogs now, and I breastfed with implants in. So,
well, I did the second time.
A lot of people thought you couldn't do that, but luckily I feel very blessed that I did. I had mine done after having Fleur. Yeah, then I had Rocco.
Yeah, exactly what I did. And actually, it's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
You know, I always say to anybody who's young, without kids, wait till you have kids, or wait till you have all your kids.
Definitely.
Don't do it before. Definitely. You know, I have to have. I've only had one, and that was 16 years ago. Yeah, they are so overdue, and I'm petrified to go through this again because I feel like, what if something happens to me? You know, how selfish is that?
We're in a different place now.
It's so scary, and also I'm thinking, you know, who do I trust? Because really, I need to have an uplift, and I need to have a reconstruction. Who do I trust? Where do I go? I've been to see every surgeon in Harley Street, I think, and I just don't feel comfortable with any of them. And it actually is dangerous now. I need to have these out.
Well, I think that's definitely a subject. I think we should talk about plastic surgery, because in the industry that we're in, and in like modern day now, a lot of people do have plastic surgery. So I think, should we keep plastic surgery for our next episode? Because I think there's a lot for us to talk about there.
Yeah.
I've had issues with my stomach since I had Rocco, and I've thought so many times, that's just been totally frank with you guys, I want to have a tummy tuck, but everyone says you're crazy. He's 5 now, so I haven't, but it's still in the back of my mind. But I wouldn't jump into it like I did years ago when I was younger having my breast done.
Yeah.
You know, it's a totally different thing. Anyway, that is our first episode of Manic Mums. We hope you loved it.
We could talk forever, as you can tell. I loved it. As I say, it is therapy, and I'm talking about things that I've never spoken about.
Yeah, me too.
And maybe I shouldn't speak about, but we did say before we start this podcast, we want to be totally honest, totally frank, and just say how it is, and that's, I think, what we've done. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope you listen to us again next week.
So please subscribe on any of the apps that we're on. Subscribe, swipe up, tap, like, comment, whatever. And stay tuned for next week's episode, guys.